This is NDTV. And you're watching Ndtv-Hindu.
Supreme Court overturns the Allahabad High Court verdict. Who owns the Ram Janmabhoomi in Ayodhya will now be known on the 28th of September.
Has directed that the judgment to be delivered by the High Court in the afternoon tomorrow shall not be delivered.
VGP senior director is arrested by the crime branch on charges of financial fraud. Whistleblowers in the line of fire again, this time in Tamil Nadu. A government employee who blew the lid off a scam in Civil Supplies Department is found dead. Even as PMK and Dalit Panthers battle it out in Mahabalipuram, residents say they do not want any of these caste wars. NDTV-Hindu takes a look at one of the oldest libraries in Chennai in a state of utter neglect.
Funds வரல எங்களுக்கு சோ அதனால வெயிட்டிங்ல இருக்கு சோ இப்போ என்னென்ன books நாங்க preserve பண்ணனும்ன்றத சப்ஜெக்ட் பிரிச்சிட்டு இருக்கோம் தனியா
It's 8 on the clock. You're watching headlines now with me Sai Manish. Those were the top stories we're tracking at this hour. Details of all those stories coming your way. Before that, let's have a look at what else is making headlines in India and rest of the world. An embarrassed Prime Minister steps in to clear the CWG mess, meets Sports Minister MS Gill and Jaipal Reddy at 7 West Coast Road. Nothing sporty about the filth and dirt. These are the first visuals of the filth inside the CWG games. Take a look yourself. CWG's organizing committee treasurer says sorry for the big mess up, while External Affairs Minister says India will put up a good show.
Assured all concerned that India will be able to deliver on the Commonwealth Games.
Pakistan provokes yet again, says India should stop treating Kashmir like its own territory. For the first time in 3 years, Yamuna crosses the most critical mark. Low-lying areas in Delhi submerged by the raging waters of the Yamuna. Well, on to the top story that we've been tracking over the past couple of hours. Ever since it developed, the VGP, as you all might be knowing, one of the most famous real estate and other big company, one of the most famous family-owned businesses in Tamil Nadu with headquarters in Chennai, of course, is in big trouble. This man on your screens, VGP Senior Director, VGP Raj Das, has been arrested by the crime branch for alleged financial fraud. NDTV-Hindu has learned that members of the VGP family have complained against Raj Das, following which the crime branch stepped in, arresting him and producing him in the Punamali court. Raj Das is still in the custody of the crime branch.
ரிஜிஸ்டர் ஆஃபீஸில் அவர் அந்த நிலத்தை பன்னிதாஸுடைய பையன் ரெண்டாவது பையன் ராஜாதாஸ் வந்து அது திருட்டுத்தனமாக அவர் ஒரு டைரக்டரு இன்னொரு டைரக்டருக்கு அது சேல் அக்ரிமெண்ட் போட்டிருந்தார். நாங்கள் அப்புறம் கூப்பிட்டு கேட்டோம், என்ன இப்படி பண்ணியிருக்கீங்க அப்படின்னு கேட்டோம். அதுக்கு அவர் சொன்னாங்க, நாங்கள் பவர் ஆஃப் அட்டார்னி வாங்கியிருக்கிறோம் அப்படின்னு சொன்னாங்க. அதையும் நாங்கள் பார்க்கும்போது அவர் இறந்து போனதுக்கு முன்னாடி பவர் போட்டிருக்காங்க. இறந்து போனோன்னா அந்த பவர் செல்லலை. ஆனால் அதை அவங்க தவறாக பயன்படுத்தி அந்த சொத்தை சுருட்ட பார்க்குறாங்க. இது வந்து ஒரு 35 கோடிக்கு மேலே ஒர்த்து உள்ள சொத்து. இது அந்த பற்றி நாங்கள் புகார் லோக்கலில் கொடுத்து பார்த்தோம், எதுவும் எடுக்கலை. அப்புறம் கலைஞர் செல் மூலமாகவும் சிசிபி மூலமாகவும் நாங்கள் இதை நல்ல ஆக்ஷன் எடுக்க கமிஷனர் மூலமாகவும் சொல்லி அப்ரோச் பண்ணும்போது அவங்க மூலமாக இதை எங்களுக்கு முயற்சி பண்ணி நல்லா முடிச்சு கொடுத்துக்கிட்டு இருக்காங்க.
And joining us live now on the phone line is our reporter Salim, who of course got us this story. He's been tracking every bit of this. A very good evening to you, Salim. What more details are emerging, especially given the fact that VGP is in fact a big name in the entire state of Tamil Nadu? Salim, can you hear me there? Well, we seem to be having some audio glitches there with Salim. He'll be joining us shortly. But for more, let's go across to Ashmit Kumar, who joins us live from the newsroom on this big story. Of course, a very good evening to you, Ashmit Kumar, there, who's joining me right now from the newsroom. Ashmit, how do you read into this incident? Of course, a big family business there, Raj Das in the net. You think there's bad blood between the family members, or is Raj Das quite simply an opportunist?
Well, very good evening to you too, Manish, and to all our viewers. And speaking of the family business here, it is one that is dominated by the family. One look at the senior management reveals that the majority of the senior positions, such as being the vice chairman, the directors, the managing directors, they're all held by the members of the family. And for instance, right starting from the chairman, the vice chairman, Mr. V.G. Santhusam, who's the vice chairman of the group, the V.G. Selvaraj, he's in fact the vice chairman. Mr. Chairman is V.G. Santhusam. They're again, they're both the sons of the founder of the VGP group. And then this proceeds on to the next generation of the family, the directors now. Speaking of the directors, I can just go on with the list. VGS Bharat Raj, VGS Vinod Raj and Murphy Das, they're all the sons of the chairman and the vice chairman. This indicates towards there being the family dominating the business, which in case we've seen in the history in corporate circles that whenever there's overlapping of authority and dominance and of influence, that always has some bearing on the decision that's called, some bearing on perhaps ego tussles between the same family, intra-family tussles. Back to you, Manish.
Right, Ashmit, you stay there right now. We'll come back to you. Of course, Salim now joins us on the phone line. He's outside the VGP headquarters inside the pit. Salim, what more details are emerging out of this case? Certainly a case which has shocked the corporate world here in Chennai.
Manish, the owner of the VGP Housing Private Limited, Mr. Raja Das, has been produced before the Saidapet court and lodged at the Pudel prison. The case is nothing but the fallout of the family feud. The complainant in this case, Mr. Edwin, the complainant and the accused in this case are relatives. The complainant, Edwin, alleges that Raja Das misused the power of attorney and tried to sell the owned by him. The accused has been arrested by the Central Crime Branch of the City Police on charges of cheating, Manish.
Right, thanks a lot, Salim there joining us, and also to Ashmit Kumar who joined us from the newsroom. Thank you, both of you. We will be tracking this story as and how it develops. And of course, on to the other big national story of the day, the decision by the Supreme Court to defer the verdict to be pronounced by the Allahabad High Court, the Lucknow bench of the Allahabad High Court. The case has now been postponed to the 28th of September, which is next Tuesday. The court issued notices to the contesting parties on the petition filed by retired bureaucrat R.C. Tripathi, challenging the order of the Lucknow bench of Allahabad High Court. Now, the Allahabad High Court had refused to defer the order of the 60-year-old Ram Janmabhoomi Babri Masjid title suit dispute. The issue will now be heard on Tuesday, which is the 28th of September.
The matter came up before two judges of the Supreme Court today. One judge was against issuing notice in the matter. One judge was inclined to issue notice. Therefore, the Supreme Court, in the traditions of the Supreme Court, has issued notice to all parties. It has issued notice to the Attorney General. It has kept the matter for the 28th of September, which is next week. And meanwhile, the Supreme Court has directed that the judgment to be delivered by the High Court in the afternoon tomorrow shall not be delivered in the meanwhile. So no judgment will be delivered by the full bench for tomorrow. And we had submitted before the court that the Supreme Court should maybe lend a healing touch in this matter where very serious contentious issues have been raised.
And of course, the BJP is not too impressed with this. They've called the petitioner R.C. Tripathi a non-serious petitioner and said that it would be in national interest to deliver a verdict as swiftly as possible.
You see, there was an application by a non-serious party who did not appear even during the course of conciliation before the High Court. I had appeared on behalf of one of the Hindu main parties. He never appeared even for a single day in the course of 90 days of the arguments. Now today he made an application and sought reconciliation. Since I'm an outgoing counsel in this case, beyond this I don't wish to make any comment. 11 attempts have been made in the past, don't forget it. Many prime ministers have met. A very serious dialogue have taken place with the VHP and the Babri Mosque Action Committee. And you may recall of the white paper when the Muslim side said, which is noted in Ismail Farooqi case, in the event it is proved that there was a temple there, we will voluntarily forgo our claims. You know all those things. There was a serious negotiation for 11 times, did not succeed. Now one stray gentleman comes to the court whose bona fide, I would say it is bona fide completely. Beyond this, I have nothing to say.
For the Allahabad High Court, Centre is not a party, and Centre has been willing to say more things to the court, but they could not go to the court. Today, the Supreme Court issuing notice to Attorney General asking him to assist the court basically means that this window has been opened for the Centre. Centre has issued appeals to the people to remain calm, and they have even banned the bulk SMS and MMS for the next 3 days. So all these efforts which Centre is taking, now Centre can inform the court on 28th what it feels, whether the judgment should be deferred for all, there should be some sort of reconciliation which is in the process, which can be done. So all these points Centre can inform the court, which the court, they can convince the court also. But at the same time, all the other parties, around 25 respondents, will have to respond to the court whether there is any chance for reconciliation. So after hearing all these things on 28th, the court will decide whether the judgment can be delivered before one of the judges in the Allahabad High Court retires. But another interesting point would be, since there is a difference of opinion between the two judges, Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad, the BJP leader who appeared for one of the respondents, Dharamdas Akhada, he said, then why should you dictate the order when there is a difference of opinion? Why don't you refer this case to a 3-judge bench? So Justice Ravindran, who is heading the bench, told Ravi Shankar Prasad saying that we will consider it on 28th. So all these things will be considered on 28th, and of course Centre will have a good chance to inform the court what it feels, whether it wants the judgment to be delivered or whether it wants the Ayodhya verdict to be deferred.
Well, with the postponement of the Ayodhya verdict, the government also extended the ban on bulk SMSs and MMSs till September 29th. The order was formally issued by the Ministry of Communications in consultation with the Ministry of Home Affairs. This is being done to control unwanted violence across India in the wake of this verdict. Now, mystery surrounds the death of Murugan, a government employee in Tuticorin who had exposed a scam in the distribution of rations in the Civil Supplies Department. After Murugan was found dead, the police say it was a case of suicide by consuming poison. But his wife thinks otherwise. Sam Daniel brings us this report.
Was Murugan killed because he blew the whistle on his colleagues in the Civil Supplies Department? Murugan's wife Selvi says he had exposed a scam where expensive pulses meant for the public distribution system were smuggled out of godowns and replaced by cheap rice. Police say Murugan consumed poison, but Selvi suspects foul play.
Accused அவங்க வந்து ஆதரவு கொடுத்து அவங்க பக்கத்துல வச்சிருக்காங்க அவங்களுக்கு தான் பாதுகாப்பு கொடுக்காங்களே ஒழிய எனக்கு நீதி கேட்க மாட்டேங்கறாங்க.
The minister in charge for food, A.V. Velu, refused to comment on camera. The government has ordered a probe.
Yesterday, Honorable Chief Minister has already announced a CBCID inquiry in this matter.
If there are very sensitive things involved, trying to get 10 people to file the same RT application so that they don't know who is that one key person.
Murugan's wife Selvi is not giving up. She has refused to accept her husband's body and is on a hunger strike demanding justice. With camera person Raja Solomon in Tuticorin, in Chennai, Sam Daniel, Ndtv.
Now, we got you every minute of the Bandh, the violence and of course the damage caused to the Pallava statues in Mahabalipuram as it unfolded. Now we get you a bigger perspective on what exactly transpired in Mahabalipuram. It was caste violence in the name of caste, of course, instigated by none other than the PMK and the leader Ramadas. Now, moving forward, do the people of Mahabalipuram really identify with people like Ramadas and the divisive caste politics that is practiced by some dubious parties like the PMK? Well, here's the answer from the streets of the temple town itself.
Damaged heritage, violent retribution, riot control vehicles, fear on the streets. A silent town on the tenterhooks. Political rivalry unfolding in Mahabalipuram, driven by caste sentiments. The main protagonist, this man, PMK's Ramadas. At the receiving end of the PMK's one-year wrath, this man, VCK Supremo Thirumavalavan. But Mahabalipuram has seen its ups and downs. Ndtv-Hindu explores the caste wars that are increasingly being played out in the serene ambience of the sleepy town by the Bay of Bengal.
மக்கள் எல்லாம் ஒற்றுமையா சந்தோஷமா மகிழ்ச்சியா வாழ்ந்துட்டு இருக்கிற நேரத்துல இது தேவையில்லாத விஷயம். பெரியவங்கள தலையிட்டு இது ஒரு சமாதானப்படுத்தி மக்கள்கிட்ட ஒரு அமைதி திரும்பறதுக்கு பாடுபட்டாங்கன்னா அது இந்த ஊர் மக்களுடைய முழுமையான விருப்பமா இருக்கும்.
After all, Mahabalipuram is a symbol of a dynasty that was known for its open-hearted embrace of everything, big or small, good or bad, indigenous or alien. Be it Mahendravarman I, under whose reign Hinduism flourished, or Narasimhavarman, one under whose glorious reign Chinese scholars like Xuanzang came calling to the splendid land which is today Tamil Nadu. In the 21st century, men like Nazir Khan, a Kashmiri who has made Mahabalipuram his home, are a symbol of an era gone by. Politically motivated caste divide is something ordinary residents like him want to stay away from.
क्या है कि यहाँ पर वो पलवास के वो पुराने लोग रहते थे, उनका कोई स्टेचू उधर था मेन रोड के एंट्रेंस में, तो आपस में दो ग्रुप में कुछ पॉलिटिकल ग्रुप में कुछ हुआ है, तो उसको रात को तोड़ दिया, ऐसा बोला है। तो उस वजह से वो यहाँ के लोग हैं, उनको गुस्सा आ गया, सबको बोला दुकान बंद कर दो। तो कुछ हुआ है आपस में, कुछ उनको बातचीत हो गई है, तो अब गाड़ियाँ सब चलने लगी, तो वो सब बंद किए, तो हमने भी उनको साथ दिया, हमको भी बंद करना है।
Bad ties mean bad business too. No one would know that better than these fishermen, guarding their properties over a game of cards, unwilling to go into the sea when violence hits their land.
அந்த பிரச்சனையை வச்சு அது ஊராட போகிறத விட்டுட்டு இன்னைக்கு பெரிய பிரச்சனை ஒரு தமிழ்நாடு பூரா பண்ணுற மாதிரி பண்ணின்னுக்கிறாங்க. அதனால் பொதுமக்களுக்கு நிறைய பாதிப்பு இருக்குது. ஸ்கூல் திறக்கிறது கிடையாது, பள்ளிக்கூடம் பசங்க பரீட்சை நடத்தாமல் எல்லாம் வீட்டுக்கு வந்துட்டாங்க. ஒரு சில வேலைக்கு போகிறவங்க பஸ் இல்லாமல் வீட்டுக்கு வந்துட்டாங்க.
Caste troubles fueled by political goals may be a dangerous exercise for gathering votes. If not the PMK or the VCK, at least the people of Mahabalipuram can differentiate between petty hyperrealism and the reality rooted in the magnificent past.
Whenever Mahabalipuram manages to shake off any of its demons, another one comes back to haunt it despite the looming presence of the divine on this quaint little town by the Bay of Bengal. First, there were the western ills such as pedophilia and child abuse brought by foreigners from the west. Now, it's the caste wars, something which is so intrinsically Indian that has come to trouble this sleepy little temple town of Mahabalipuram. With Pradeep, this is Sai Manish for NDTV-Hindu. We're slipping into a very short break right now, but up on the other side, the Commonwealth Organising Committee apologizes for the Delhi Games, but what is their explanation? That's coming up. Stay with us.